We are back as Coach Prime has several official visitors on campus this weekend, including a five-star corner that everybody should be excited about because, as we have seen with Coach Prime and Kevin Mathis in the past, they can land and flip the number one corner in the country. Not one, but 2 years in a row. Now, you might not have the number one corner on campus today, but he certainly could be that guy for you. But guys, before we dive into it and look at these official visitors that are on campus, go ahead, jump down in the comments below and let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Do you think you guys get any commitments out of this weekend for the Colorado Buffaloes? But let's go ahead and dive into it because we got to start off with the five-star cornerback, 6'1", 171 pounds, Charles Lester III. Now, why is this one significant? Well, I would say probably one of the biggest reasons is because if you're Coach Prime, you're Kevin Mathis, you're having to go up against Alabama. So you're not just going up against Florida State this time, who is the guy or the team that you flipped Travis Hunter from back in, what was it, 2022? Not that guy, not that team. It's Alabama. So you're having to go up against Robert Gillespie and Travaris Robinson. And why is that significant? Go look at some of the guys that Travaris Robinson has gotten to the University of Alabama. Vernon Hargreaves, Caleb Downs, who, by the way, was considered to potentially be one of the best players in last year's class. He was that good. He was in that kind of conversation. You had Jordan Birch. You had Tease Tabor. Jalen, I'm probably going to butcher this last name, Mbekwe? Desmond Ricks, Jaleel Hurley. You guys catch my drift. Travaris Robinson is an elite recruiter. He can recruit up and down the board. And when you're having to go up against that for Alabama, it's going to be a tough uphill battle. Not to mention Robert Gillespie on the other side, the primary recruiter, Keon Keeley, Jahad Campbell, Justin Haynes, Desmond Ricks, Kamari Wheaton. That one hurts to say a little bit as an Oklahoma fan. Emmanuel Henderson, Jalen Hurd, Alvin Kamara. Kind of catch the drift here. Another elite recruiter. Not saying Coach Prime, Kevin Mathis, that staff can't get the job done. This is a little different. You're not going up against the Florida State teams that have kind of been bad and been down in the past. You're going up against the Florida State team that's been ascending. You're going up against an Alabama team that, well, quite frankly, the wheels haven't fallen off yet. And there's still a bunch of elite recruiters there to sell the value and the brand of Alabama. Now, if y'all don't land Charles Lester, I'm not worried. I'm still convinced Ellis Robinson loves the University of Colorado, and Ellis Robinson could potentially flip towards the middle or end of the season when you get closer to early National Signing Day. But it's all going to be dependent on the type of season that Coach Prime is able to put up with the Colorado Buffaloes. And what I mean by that is, if you go out there, you drop an egg, you don't see development from Travis Hunter, you don't see development from Cormani McClain or some of these other guys you got through the transfer portal, then yes, potentially you don't see a flip there, and potentially you don't even see Charles Lester even consider committing. But if you go out there, and let's say you win 4, 5, 6 games, and Colorado's hanging into games, not getting blown out, and the defensive backfield looks super solid. Obviously, we understand there's going to be issues probably with both the defensive line. But if everything else looks solid on the defense, then maybe a guy like Charles Lester or Ellis Robinson says, I want to be a part of that. Not only is Coach Prime convincing enough to get us there, but he can develop us. And from what we saw in year one, he would be able to turn around this team. So with an investment from talent like us, we could help be a part of that. Because I think that's what you're going to see with a lot of the recruits for the Buffs this year. I think the recruiting class for the Buffs is going to be slow throughout the summer period when you're going to see a lot of teams get hot. And I don't think you're going to see the Colorado Buffaloes get hot in recruitments until probably that fall, till when you get closer to early National Signing Day. Just because I think recruits want to see what product is going to be put on the field. Doesn't necessarily have to equate to wins. I think they just want to see what kind of effort do these players put out for Prime, what's the feeling in the locker room, and then what does that development look like for these players, especially these top tier players that you've been able to flip for the past 2 seasons. But shifting gears and changing directions a little bit, because Charles Lester's great, but you guys have a couple other official visitors, and I believe you have an unofficial on campus as well. But the first one is you've got Talon Chandler on campus, the inside offensive lineman at 6'3.5", 292 pounds, who actually is committed to the University of Colorado, along with Danny O'Neal, your guys' quarterback. You guys have Aaron Butler, the top 100 player, 4-star athlete. Now, I don't believe Aaron Butler's on campus. Danny might be on campus, I think, from what I've heard. I'd have to double check on that, so don't quote me on that. But this will be the third guy you've had on campus that's been committed to the University of Colorado. That's big. That's big. Then you've got Brandon Davis-Swine from West Bloomfield, Michigan, the 4-star defensive lineman, the 201 ranked player in the 247 composite rankings at 6'4", 240 pounds. He's got over 24 offers. He's got a couple visits set up. He's got one next week with Purdue. Colorado, Coach Prime, I believe you all should be able to beat out Purdue. But he has one set up with Michigan. Being a guy from the state of Michigan, that's probably going to be an uphill battle for you. But he's also got offers from the likes of Auburn and USC. It's not going to be an easy win. It's not going to be easy for Colorado in any of these recruiting cycles until we see them turn around the product they're putting out on the field. But Brandon Davis-Swine coming on campus, Coach Prime is obviously trying to focus on building in the trenches. And we saw that in the transfer portal because it looked like you guys were focusing and trying to get in anybody on the defensive line or the offensive line you could, because I think Coach Prime understands the importance of building in the trenches and how important that is, especially when you get outside of the Pac-12, because I'm not going to be honest, not high on the Pac-12's defense. Offenses, different story. But in the Pac-12, I think you can make it through with the subpar offensive line, defensive line, but you won't be able to make it when you get out of the Pac-12. So then you got Michael Welch, a guy from Midleville, Georgia, the 5'9", 195-pound running back. So obviously you guys got Dylan Edwards last class. That's really good. But you probably want to get at least 2 or 3 more running backs in this class because you've got a lot of transfer guys in there right now. Now, Welch has taken a visit to West Virginia on June 2nd. He'll be at Colorado this weekend. And then he's got an official visit set up with Indiana on June 23rd. Luckily, nothing else is scheduled after that. However, he does have 18 offers, and he does have some pretty elite programs on that offer list. One being the Florida Gators, who I don't expect to land Stacey Gage today. So if they don't land Stacey Gage, potentially they go after a guy like Welch. But he's also got offers from the likes of Oregon, Tennessee, Florida State, and then, of course, the hometown team, Georgia. So we'll have to keep an eye on this one. Not too sure Colorado is going to be favored in that race, but potentially something to potentially watch because, like I said, I think Colorado needs to take 2 or 3 running backs in this class. Now, you look at June 16th, not a whole lot of official visitors set up yet. And I say yet because anything can change. Anything can change. But you guys do have an official visit set up from Natarian Tuggle, a 6'3", 185-pound wide receiver from IMG Academy, originally from South Bend, Indiana, the 179th ranked player, currently committed to Georgia, but you're getting him on campus, so put him on flip watch. You guys are also getting Kylan Fox on campus, the 6'4.5" tight end out of Graysonville High School in Loganville, Georgia. So both of those are going to be some pretty big recruitments for the University of Colorado. Now, I know if you go look at 247, Kylan Fox is listed as an athlete. I believe he'll end up playing tight end pretty much wherever he goes. But offers from the likes of Florida State, Georgia Tech, UCF, Ole Miss. So we'll have to keep an eye on this one as well. But he's got over 58 offers. And then, of course, you'll have Styles Prescott, a 6'6", 280-pound offensive lineman, currently committed to Notre Dame. So look for a flip there. And then, of course, you'll have Danny O'Neal on for sure for an official visit next week, which is the committed quarterback to Colorado. So a lot for the Colorado fans to be excited about going into the next couple weeks with your official visitors list. I do believe you guys will see that June 16th official visit list grow, but it's interesting that when it comes time for people to start taking their official visits, Coach Prime only has a small official visit list. So we'll have to keep an eye on if he can get bigger official visit lists, or if maybe they get several official visit weekends and they try to keep them small. We'll have to kind of see how Coach Prime wants to do it. But guys, before we get out of here, jump down in the comments below. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. How many commitments or silent commitments do you think the Colorado Buffaloes Coach Prime get out of this weekend? Additionally, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and hit that subscribe button.